we can now move on to other parts of Super Smash Bros., including the bonus 1 practice and bonus 2 practice. Yeah, this pretty much lets you replay the break the target stages, which we have done all of them except for one, that being Captain Falcon's. And we may as well show off one of... Oh, never mind. Well, we get to show off one of the alternate costumes of his. I forgot that the break the target stage starts the instant you select the character. But, yeah. I forget exactly... I remember how we failed to do this one. We failed to go around this whole platform. Which I believe requires you to do that. Thankfully, you can just press the L button to restart. If you don't want to go through the character select menu all over again. I know doing this kind of wastes time because we're gonna have to go around under anyway. Wait, I wonder. Okay, you can use both Falcon Punch and the up special in the air, although doing so you won't get much height with the up special. So, oh, okay, that was on me. That was me being stupid. Although, let me try this. That didn't work. Is there a way I can get that target early? No. Probably not. No way. There's no way I'm doing that. Okay. I'm gonna have to just kind of loop around from the left, which is going to be easier said than done. Now I wonder, should I just... Yeah, I probably should just jump first and then go off the edge. That's probably going to be easier, maybe? You know, honestly, for time reasons, for time's sake, it should probably be... Doing that should probably be the first thing we do, just so if we have to start over, we won't waste much time, you know, doing the stuff we do know. There we go! That's how you do it. You just gotta be real precise with it. But now I know it is possible. And there we go. We have completed the target test with all 12 characters. Very nice. By the way, I believe if you decide to do a target test again and get a new record on it, a different voice line. You'll get a different voice line from the announcer. We may as well just do Pikachu's target test again. We didn't get a very good time on this one. Okay, that was not very smart. There you go. Very nice. Anyways, that concludes Break the Targets. By the way, up here, you can just press the A button up here to immediately get into the Board the Platforms menu. Oh, I also forgot to mention that if you do break the targets with all 12 characters, now the total best time will show up. And for us, it is 10 minutes. Now for Board the Platforms, Yeah, there's quite a few characters we have not completed it with because there's not anything major that requires you to complete board the platforms with all the characters for. There is one thing though that requires you to complete all of the target test stages and all the platform test stages. And we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Starting with Link. I do find it kind of weird that Board the Platforms never came back in Super Smash Bros. This was the only game that it was ever featured in. I guess because over time there would be so many characters that designing new platform test and target test stages would be too much of a hassle. So in Melee, there were only target test stages, but they were still unique to each character, and that game had more than double the roster of this game. So it's probably like the same amount of work anyway. Kind of. Great. Okay, that's why I didn't do this stage successfully before, because if you miss that one platform, you pretty much reach the point of no return. I forget what the first Legend of Zelda game I ever played was. I believe it was actually The Legend of Zelda. Was it A Link to the Past? It was either the original Legend of Zelda or A Link to the Past. I think it was A Link to the Past, because I think it was before I ever figured out that that Link's name was not Zelda. And there we go. That takes care of Link's Board the Platform stage, and now we gotta take care of Samus's. We may as well go as Green Samus. And there's another one where the platforms are super spread out. And some of them move. My favorite. Having to take leaps of faith. Perfect! Ugh. Drop Shadow really helps there, thankfully. So, it's kind of a leap of faith. Yeah, I'd still say it is. Ooh, over here we get to use Samus's unique dodge animation, which is rolling up into a ball, which changes her hitbox majorly. That's pretty cool that they utilize that. And I miss it. Great. There's also another platform we didn't get. Oh, there were two! Within that whole vertical escalator thing going on. Ugh, stupid ceiling. Ugh. Now, have I ever played a Metroid game? I believe I have. I have played the original. I have not played the sequel on the Game Boy. I also haven't played any of the Prime games. I think it's just the original Metroid that I've played, and that's it. Weird. To be fair, there's also not that many Metroid games in general. I think there's like, what, 8, maybe 9 mainline games? Yeah, to get that one, you really have to delay your second jump. So there we go. Now it's time for Yoshi. We'll go as Red Yoshi. Now, I forget how I failed this one before. Nope. I guess because of the fact that Yoshi doesn't really have a third jump for recovery. I don't know. Alright, just to check, is there another platform that could come out of this? The answer is no. Okay. Also, I believe those those moving platforms are not semi-solid. So, if they kind of push you down, you will not go through them. You will just end up. No! There's one platform left. That's the thing. Controlling Yoshi while in the air is extremely tricky. Especially if you want to, especially when dealing with moving platforms. Because reaching down quickly, like dropping down to a platform super quickly, is not very easy as Yoshi. And the lack of a recovery does not help. Okay, just barely. There we go! That takes care of Yoshi's platform test. And now, we have Kirby's. And... oh, I remember how I failed this one. This one's pretty difficult overall. Especially the last few platforms. These ones right here aren't that hard. This one you just kind of have to wait. I believe with this one, you aren't really able to waste any time dropping to that platform on the bottom right. You just kind of have to savor your jumps because you're gonna need them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Because otherwise, having to go under that whole ceiling thing, by that point you won't have enough jumps to reach up there. So not bothering with that platform at all is the best way to go. Alright, next up is Fox. Now, you don't always have to be on the moving platform. It's just kind of a recommendation. You could go in whatever direction you want, and plus that platform respawns anyway. So now that we got that one, we may as well head back up to over here. Uh-oh. Definitely gonna have to be extra careful with those bumpers. Thankfully we were. And we're able to get all 10 platforms just like that. And there we go. That's it for the main 8 characters. Now we just have to deal with Luigi and Captain Falcon. With Luigi's, these first few just have to have some patience. Because they slowly rise from these warp pipes. Although they're not really warp pipes, because they're not really warping anywhere, just kind of regular pipes. I mean, this is apparently based off the original Mario Brothers, after all, which didn't have warp pipes, but just normal pipes. Which is how Mario and Luigi kind of got the personas of being plumbers. There we go. This next platform shouldn't be too tricky to get. All I have to do is that. And just like that, exactly a minute and 1 second. Now we need is our good old buddy, Captain Falcon. Now what's interesting is that I believe in Super Smash Bros. Melee, whenever you play these target tests in their own little mode, if you pause the game, the timer will keep going. Now, I forget if that's also the case in that game's one-player game, but I definitely know it is in the just independent break the targets mode. This is where things get tricky. Okay, that didn't help. I think I even said that my recommendation is to go to the bottom and then go all the way back around and then travel to the right, right here, where you'll reach down and land on the last 2 platforms, rather than trying to go down and around like we did in the break the target stage. I believe it is possible to do it that way here, but it's definitely not the safest route. This one also takes a lot more time. But the safety of it all makes it worth it. Probably gonna have to time this right. Okay, that platform saved me there. And there we go! You can now use the sound test! Access it in the data screen. And that was the reason why I did all the board the platform stages. Now you know. And that's the only thing you unlock out of it, by the way, if you do all of the bonus 1 and bonus 2 practices. You'll get an extra option in the data screen, alongside characters and versus record, which we'll look at later. The sound test lets you pretty much pick out any music track, any sound effect, and any voice clip in the game. 244, my god. There are more voice clips than sound effects. That's concerning. You can look at Mario's voices. It's amazing. By the way, in the options, I think I already looked into that. Now, there's really only one more thing in the one-player stuff and the single-player stuff, and that's training mode. Now, training mode is pretty interesting because pretty much just pick any character you want and pick any opponent you want, and just select any of the 8 stages in the game that are playable in the versus mode. I never was able to mention that the game has 8 stages playable in the versus mode that are all seen in the one-player game. You may as well pick a random stage. And we got the Yoshi stage. Now what's interesting is that some of these stages actually have differences between in the one-player game and the versus mode. This is one of those stages because only in the versus mode and training mode as seen here will you get these cloud platforms on the left and right. Also the background's different, just showing the Smash Brothers logo, but that's just the case for the training mode. Now on the top we also get some stats that we can use to measure things: damage, combo, the enemy setting, and the speed. Now the damage and combo can be used to determine which combos are the best when fighting other opponents. So yeah. There's also, if you press start, you get this whole pause menu. You can change the CPU settings to do stuff like walk. You'll just kind of walk around so you can get yourself a moving target. There's also evade, where the opponent will try to dodge you as much as possible. This is pretty much the setting that the game sets to an opponent to whenever you get an item that will kind of instantly KO an opponent, like the hammer, along with items like the star, where there's pretty much no way that the opponent can fight against you. There's also jump, where the opponent will just jump. There's also attack, which is pretty self-explanatory. Well, not in that regard, but when it comes back, yeah, the opponent will just act as a normal CPU and will attack you. Now, I don't believe you are able to set the CPU intelligence. I know you definitely are in later Smash Brothers games, but not in this one. And we'll set that back to stand. You can also summon any item you want to your avail. So you can bring in a Pokeball. We got Onyx. Oh, by the way, that text in brackets on the top right indicates what item you are holding. So, got a red shell, which will home in on any opponents on the platform that the red shell is on. Kind of like how it acts in Mario Kart. Green shell, bumper, bob-omb, motion sensor bomb, hammer, fire flower, ray gun. Not sure why most of these are one word, but whatever. Fan, home run, bat beam, sword, SAR, heart, which is the heart container from The Legend of Zelda, which will replenish all of your health, no matter what. There's also speed. You can slow down the game to a bunch of different speeds. Now, that does not set the speed of the sound effects, unfortunately, so you don't get to hear sound in slow motion or lower pitched or anything like that, which would have been pretty funny, but unnecessary. You can also set it to half speed and 2/3 speed. There's also the view, where you can set the camera view to normal and close up. You can have the camera close up to your character, which is interesting to say the least. And you can also reset everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it for training mode. Overall, a somewhat unnecessary game mode for completion-wise. Doing stuff in here doesn't really unlock you anything, but of course, if you actually want to actively play the game, it's pretty useful if you want to increase your skills. And so with that, we are done with the one-player mode menu. It's now time we move on to versus mode.